Washington football. Woo! Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Burgundy Zone. I am your host, Kyle, and I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Michael Hall and Michael Reed. The Burgundy Zone is a part of the Frederick Podcast Network. You can find out more by going to www.listenfrederick.com. And my two co-hosts here, well, this is a great episode that we have lined up for you guys. This one is called Flock Shooting, a little bird hunt that we're going on this weekend. And before we get into the game and all that jazz, we want to bring in and introduce our guest for this episode, reoccurring guest, Mr. Zach Selby, staff writer for the Washington Commanders. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, Zach. How are you doing?
Oh, yeah. I just got out of traffic, so that was hell. But, other than that, it's an exciting day because, one, football is back in general, and two, we're about 72 hours away from the Commanders kicking off at FedEx Field. I mean, I was saying this earlier. It feels like we've waited for this specific game for, 20 years.
Yeah, it has
really
been, literally.
It feels like a longer wait than other week one openers that I've experienced. But I'm fired up for the sellout crowd. Who knows what's going to happen? But I feel pretty good about Washington's chances.
Yeah, and I think Harris Company, the Hog ownership, had come out today and said that it's actually very close for week 3 with the Bills selling out, getting very close to that. But Selby, I want to talk to you about the captains. They were selected and announced yesterday by the Commanders, obviously notably Sam Howell being on that list. Talk about the captains for this team, and more specifically, what does this mean for Sam Howell? A lot of people will say this is probably normal for a team to nominate their quarterback to be the captain, right?
Yeah, it's normal, but they don't necessarily have to do it. Desmond Ridder was not named a captain for the Falcons, and he's the starting quarterback. So it's maybe customary, but not a given that a quarterback is going to be a captain. But I think Sam honestly has earned it. He's pretty much been a leader for this team ever since he was named QB1 for OTAs, and he has this really calming demeanor about him that I think a lot of his teammates really appreciate. And I was looking back whenever I was writing the story about the captains, and something that really stood out to me was that joint practice against the Ravens, where there were a lot of fights, a little chippiness there, and Rivera talked about how impressed he was that Howell kind of refocused the offense and kept a really calm and cool demeanor that allowed them to kind of get back into the swing of things. And I think that's something that you really want out of a quarterback, right? I don't really expect to see Howell being very emotional, which some quarterbacks do. That's their style. But Howell has his way of leading things, and I think the team. I think it's the right kind of style for this specific team.
Yeah. Right. Oops, sorry, Hall. I'll go ahead and take over from here. But one noticeable, of course, the biggest news that has been since preseason has been Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin's going out there. I know that these injuries can kind of nag and they can last for a while. What can we expect from Terry? Is there going to be a snap count? Or do you think he's going to be full guns blazing going out?
If there is a snap count, they're not going to tell us. That's for sure.
But blink twice if they did tell you.
So. Yeah, right. Yeah, me and Rivera have to keep it close in his office. Yeah. But I would honestly say he's trending towards playing. He was a limited participant yesterday. He's a full participant today. I'd imagine he's going to be a full participant tomorrow. He might be listed as questionable, but I doubt it, considering that he was upgraded. I don't think they necessarily had to do that, and they wouldn't have upgraded him to full if he wasn't out there doing everything that he could possibly do. And I think he was confident, in the locker room yesterday, and he seemed like he doesn't really seem bothered by the turf toe at all. And then maybe it's not to say that it's not an issue, because everybody gets hurt and everybody's dealing with some sort of injury at any point in the season. But he's good enough to play, and if he's good enough to play, then Washington could really use him. Even if it is against the Cardinals, who a lot of people are considering to be not that great of a team, you want to erase any doubt, and having Terry on your starting lineup certainly does that.
No, 100%. And he's played through two high ankle sprains, so anything's possible at this point with that guy. But I was scrolling through Twitter, or X nowadays, and came across another article that you wrote about Khalid Hudson going into year 4, and just kind of explain like what the article was about and like what you wrote about. And do you think he's going to have a bigger role this year outside of just his special teams role?
Yeah, I think he will. I think he'll be a pretty big part of the rotation. And honestly, like if they only kept 4 linebackers on the active roster, so all 4 of those guys are gonna have to play bigger roles. But yeah, I think one thing that really hasn't gone as noticed as maybe should be is that this time last year, like Khalid Hudson was released and on the practice squad. Like they not necessarily that they didn't like give up on his development, but like they deemed that he was not good enough to be on an active roster. And after doing all the work he's put in over the last year, increasing his confidence, making himself more available, being versatile, playing fast, all that other stuff, like all the work that he's done to this point has pretty much it's done a 180. He's now on an active roster and one of the only 4 that they kept. I think that's a story that I don't think a lot of people really picked up on just because he was elevated in week 5 and he did play in week 18, which was a big part of his confidence boost. But I think that deserves a lot of attention about how you fight back after being released and being on the practice squad to getting on the active roster and pretty much playing a bigger role than he had. And I think if you watch that game against the Bengals, I think that's exactly what you want to see out of Khalid Hudson. Not going to really necessarily be a starter all the time, but when he's out there, you expect him to be disruptive.
Absolutely. And Selby, a big news this week. Apparently, the Commanders were very hungry for some chowder. Jamison Crowder was re-signed, obviously, from the Redskins. Wide receiver that could be used in the slot. But Dax Milne has been out the past 2 practices this week with a groin injury. What do you think happens with punt return and kick return? Who do you think gets those to start? And do you think Crowder could get called up for that?
First of all, are you proud of that dad joke?
I'm very proud of the dad joke.
I was not proud of it at all. Actually, I think that Kyle should be banned from YouTube for that. I'm
well,
just, you know.
Bad puns aside, yeah, I think Crowder has a very good shot of getting elevated. When I was talking to some of the reporters on the sideline about this today, is that there's always there's some Saturday elevations that happen every week, and I think Crowder is one of the guys that really could do that because Milne's status is kind of up in the air right now, and Trinity did not really be out there on Sunday. We'll see what happens on Friday, but I mean, he was the DNP yesterday, he was the DNP today, and they want to take care of that groin. But I mean, you have a little bit of a history of him taking care of punts. You have a history of him doing that sort of thing, and he can help you on offense. Like he's a solid little receiver. Runs pretty good routes. I mean, he's not going to be as productive as he was in previous years, but he's going to add a little bit of extra something if you put him out there. And you have to look at it this way too: is that the Commanders care about being able to catch the ball more than necessarily getting yards upfield on punt returns, and because they've been better than that in the past. So that Crowder is the guy who at least can hold on to the ball, and once he gets that, then all that stuff is extra icing on the cake there. But the fact that he's able to at least be in that role and be serviceable, I think that gives him a very good shot of making a return to the Burgundy Gold on Sunday, which would be kind of a little extra added story that'll be really nice.
Yeah, and somebody, I think it was who was that? It was Mark Schlereth who was talking about Sadiq Charles, and he said he's been super impressed with Sadiq Charles's tape all throughout the preseason. He said he's just a road grader. He's got all the skills. What do you expect from this offensive line? You're a former offensive lineman, Selby, aren't you?
I am 100 pounds ago. Yeah.
I was about to say, you don't look like it. Yeah, you don't look like it.
Yeah, no. But I would say this, I've been saying for a while, I think this offensive line is going to be a little better than people think it's going to be. I think people are like writing it off as like a straight up liability. They're like, it's basically they're just a bunch of their 5 paper tigers out there who are just going to give Sam Howell all this trouble. But no, I think they're good. I think they've shown a lot of growth and chemistry, and Sadiq is one of the players that has grown a lot because you didn't see much of him out there because of the injury. But whenever he was playing against the Bengals, I mean, he held his own. Now, granted, that is against backups and third stringers and all that other stuff, but I mean, he did his job, and he answered the questions about how physical can he be, how quick can he be, can he get out there in space, and he did all of that. So I feel pretty fine about him being that starting left guard. And I think this offensive line is, it's they're facing an interesting challenge because this defense for the Cardinals is not necessarily like a group that has a lot of big names, but they have a lot of dudes that are really productive and solid players. They're like, the comparison I made with Logan Paulson today was it's like you're facing 4 Matt Ioannidis's on for the Cardinals. Like they're not necessarily going to pop out and make all these highlight flashes, but like if you know how good they are.
High motor,
exactly. Yeah. So, and they can give you some problems if you're not on your stuff. So, I think they're going to be able to handle themselves well enough, but I think they can't let any kind of doubt creep in because of how low key formidable this Cardinals defensive line is.
All right, now Selby, to wrap this up, only a couple more questions. Not really questions, but more so predictions. So let's get your tinfoil hat on, sir. For this game. Over under for 2 sacks for Young and Sweat combined.
So just so we're clear, just because we just went through gambling training, this is all for fun.
Yes, just for fun.
No, this is no gambling policy, anything at all. You said over under 2 sacks?
Yes, sir.
Combined, right?
Combined.
For Chase Young and Montez Sweat?
Yes.
I'll say over. I think Chase Young and Montez Sweat have done a very good job.
Do you think Chase Young plays?
Yeah, I think he's trending to playing.
My man, love to absolutely hear it. Now, for the season, who's going to be the sack leader, interception leader, and then leader in touchdowns?
Sack leader, I'll go with. I think Montez Sweat is going to have a big year. I think he's going to have a similar year to where Deron Payne is. He's going to be able to finish a lot more. I think that's going to help him out a lot. Interception leader. Emmanuel Forbes is the obvious choice, but
Derek Forrest last year.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I was thinking Derek Forrest.
Always around the ball.
But I also think
like
that
Reed.
I think teams are gonna start scheming for that now. You know what? I'll say Benjamin St. Juste.
Okay.
Like it. Yeah, I like it.
Do you think he's going to put maple syrup on his gloves, make them extra sticky?
What was that?
Do you think he's going to put maple syrup on his gloves, make them extra sticky because he's Canadian?
We're going to have to kick you out now, too.
Like it was better than Kyle's, okay? But I'll leave,
well, for Reed, that comes naturally. For me, I got to try a little hard, and I still fail at it, Selby. Yeah. Last question.
Touchdowns?
Yes, sir.
Are we talking total touchdowns?
Total, yes. And you can't pick Sam Howell.
Yeah, obviously. I'll say Jahan Dotson.
Jahan Dotson, okay.
He was a machine last year.
All right, last one I have for you. It is another prediction, but let's do your score prediction for this weekend and also your prediction for MVP of the game.
So, not going to give you a score prediction. I know. Working for the team, that's the problem with it. But
I was going to go to FanDuel and pick correct score and just go with your prediction.
Oh, yeah.
Did you get a copy of the script?
He did.
Okay.
I never got a copy of the script. I don't know what you're talking about. But MVP of the game, not going to say Sam Howell, even though that's kind of a cop-out. I will say I feel like AG could have a big game.
AG. Wow.
Yeah, I can base that on nothing, but I think his speed and quickness are going to be a problem because I think they're going to allow him to get out of space more.
Plus, he should be used in so many ways. It should.
Yeah.
Really. Passing game, running game.
I think we're going to get to see a little bit of that. I mean, probably not going to see all of it because it's week 1, but I think you'll see Bieniemy open up the playbook a little bit. I would guess.
Absolutely would love to hear that. Selby, I can't thank you enough for joining us in this episode and flock shooting before we head into this week 1 matchup against the Arizona Cardinals. So I hope you have a great night. Get some rest. We'll see you this weekend.
All right. Y'all take it easy.
Thank you, Zach.
Selby.
Have a great one, brother. All right, everybody, we just spoke with the man, Mr. Zach Selby of the Washington Commanders. Love to hear. I wish that he could have helped us out a little bit with the gambling aspect of it. But you know what? It is what it is.
Also, though, it's probably good because remember, Hall already ruined his life doing that when he gambled away his college tuition and like all that stuff. So
that's true. That is true.
Yeah, you got to get that under check, dog.
I do got to get that.
Gamblers Anonymous.
Yeah.
1-800.
We can't say what Reed's addicted to because then we definitely get banned off the show.
Now, why don't you say it?
Now we are joined by our next guest,
the word,
Mr. Coach Greg Curl. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. How you doing?
Hey man, what did I walk into, man?
You walked into a goddamn buzzsaw fight. We're sitting here just taking it out on each other. Yeah.
Hey, Coach, before we get into our fan questions and everything that we typically do, I did want to do a roundtable format with us, asking you a round of questions. And my big question to you, I think it should be easy to say, but what is your expectations for this defense this year, Coach Curl? Obviously, you have a different mindset than most. I think it's easy to say, well, we expect better. But last season, they were first on third down. In red zone conversion percentage, they were 9th in the league on defense. They were 8th in points per game. What are your expectations for this defense going up against a very, I would say, more difficult offensive stretch than they did last season?
I think we're going to stay real close to those same numbers as far as rankings, if not get a little bit better in some of the different categories. Man, I mean, just looking at what we have, this is a dangerous defense, man. We have good God, the two guys coming off the edge, the two guys coming up the middle, that is going to make everybody behind them job so much more easier. They're going to be so much more relaxed, so much free to just play their game. And it's going to make it very, very hard for offense.
And then to elaborate on that, Jack Del Rio, we've been asked this before, Coach, but that Jack Del Rio in his turnover of defense year to year seems to take a step back at the beginning of the year. And I more so attribute that to Jack Del Rio is kind of like a structured concrete in a way where he has his format. He knows it works over time. There's no reason to do crazy stuff early on. How do you view Jack Del Rio defensively calling plays?
I think I like the way Jack runs the defense and everything, and the way he calls plays and everything, because I think it's going to be different. This year is going to be different. And the reason I say that is just because some of the personnel that we're going to have out there on the field, guys are going to be able to play where they're more comfortable at.
Okay.
So I think at times there was some plays Jack probably wanted to do, like maybe some blitz packages, but he probably felt if I sent that guy, I don't really have, the backup or what, we might shoot ourselves in the foot. And I don't see us having that problem this year. I think the blitz can come from anywhere on the field this year.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely improved the defense all around, and it's hard I feel like it's hard to do like back-to-back years where you're ranked that high and you're good, but like they have gotten better. I mean, they've added, their weakness was the DB depth. They've added more DBs. They're getting chased back. Like this defense is going to be something fun. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What's your prediction for Sam Howell? I know that it's tough. I don't want to be like, Coach Greg, you're on the spot right now. But
hey, listen, I'm gonna stand by my word. I'm expecting Sam Howell to be. I'm expecting him to be better than expectations.
Okay.
From a lot of people,
right?
He is Sam. This first year, these first couple of games, I'm glad we got Arizona on the first game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He played against Dallas last year, but when you coming in as not the guy, and I just got to start, that's different than coming in as the guy.
Yeah.
Last year when he started against Dallas, it wasn't his job. He was coming in. Now it's his job to lose. So it's a different mindset.
Yeah, nobody was kissing his feet back then.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a little nerves when the bullets get to flying and everything. But I expect Sam Howell to flourish in this offense with the weapons we have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
as long as we
agree.
can give him those 2.5 to 3 seconds to get the ball out, I think we're gonna be all right.
Right. Yeah.
Nah, definitely gonna the offensive line is gonna be the key to the season. And speaking of the season, every year there's a player that has like that breakout year and kind of bursts onto the scene like the next kind of rising star for the team, or they were on the cusp of being that breakout player, and then they kind of grow into that role like Deron Payne last year. Who do you think that player is going to be this year? Either offense or defense, don't matter. Or you can do one on both sides of the ball if you want to.
Wow. Breakout player. Man, I'm thinking on all. I go with offense first. Jahan Dotson. I think he's gonna have a great year, and the crazy thing about it is, I think he's gonna match or get real close to Terry's numbers, but Terry's gonna do the same thing. But we expect that from Terry. We're gonna expect those numbers from Terry. But I think with the quarterback having, I think Jahan is going he's gonna make some. The dude already makes crazy plays, but he's gonna be a breakout player. He's gonna be a national name for the end of the season.
Isn't it kind of nuts how maybe not national analysts right now. I mean them a little bit, but just your average fan does not understand just how good Jahan Dotson is. I feel like every team around the league, we all know because we saw him at training camp last year, the preseason, and this year we saw what he did and how good he is and how hard he is to cover and check at the line and all the catches that he makes. But when these people see what Jahan Dotson can do, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah. No wonder their wide receivers always rank so high.
I was talking to a friend of mine, Jahan Dotson. We said Jahan Dotson plays backyard football against professionals.
Right.
Dude, the catches he makes, the way he gets off of people, it's like, you see that kid in the backyard, he do something, you're like, man, I ain't even going to tell nobody because they're not going to believe this, Everybody's out there. He's just, he's a beast, man. I think he's going to have a great season now. Absolutely. Defense.
Oh, sorry.
I don't want to sound too biased,
but it's the right answer.
Hey, I mean, it's the right answer. It's the right answer.
I don't want to sound too
It's
biased,
the same thing. He's the Jahan of the defense right now. It's the national media, all these typical fans don't understand what we have in Cam. It's nuts.
Yeah. I think the chip is still there on the shoulder, and it's gotten bigger. Trust me. So Cam is going out to, to show and prove that, the numbers don't lie. He said it in a couple of interviews. Check the film. Hey, the numbers don't lie. He's gonna show that now. And I think he's gonna feel a little bit more comfortable because I think his role and don't nobody quote me on that. And post breaking news, but I think his role is gonna be smaller this year. I don't think because he got help back there and in different places. So I don't think he's gonna have to take on.
Focus on 1,000 things at once.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's obvious he didn't have a problem doing all that. He flourished in that. But I think with that minimizing his roles, he's gonna flourish in the things that he do. Because now all I have to worry about is this. I'll play my position instead of having to play other positions too. So I that's why I would pick him on defense as a breakout player. And Chase, I don't want to say Chase is going to be a breakout player. I think we're going to get what we paid for this year.
People are going to remember
and I'm not trashing anything he did before, but I'm just saying Chase is going to be Chase Young. The Chase Young we drafted, the Chase Young everybody expected to check. That's what Chase is going to be this year. And I think he got a chip on his shoulder too because of the injury and the fact that, it's a contract year for him too.
Let's hope that chip in his shoulder doesn't keep him out 3 to 4 weeks.
Oh, goodness, man. Now, Coach, last question I have for you before we get into our own fan questions that were submitted for the rest of this episode. Magic Johnson spoke to the players the other day at practice. I'm not sure if you were able to speak to Cam about what Magic had said, but if you can enlighten us, that would be fantastic. But otherwise, if you were able to meet Magic Johnson, that sort of setting, what would you ask him or say to him?
Man, it would be so much. I mean, first, it would be like, nice to meet you, man. I've always been a big fan, but dude, I want to absorb some knowledge. Teach me, how you got to where you at, off the basketball court. That's what I'm trying, introduce me to some people, teach me how to be. And that's what I told, I haven't talked to Cam since he talked to him, but even before I was like, man, if you ever get around Magic, man, pick his brain. Pick his brain. Ask questions, man.
One of the
ask
greatest
questions.
athletes of all time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he would love to, to give you some advice or tell you how to do, some business moves or stuff with, as a professional athlete. Now, he probably can't talk too much about the business and NFL with him being part owner, but he can, I'm pretty sure he can, guide him on some ways. And I don't know if you guys saw my Twitter. I told him to make sure somebody get Magic my number. He's free to reach out to me at any time.
As all of us, Coach, I would agree. Now let's get into our fan questions, and this first one was submitted by the Colonel. And Reed, I'll go to you first, then I'll go to you, Coach Curl. But the Colonel asks, when questioned this week about Coach Rivera's future with the team, new owner Josh Harris said it depends on wins. Is it that simple, Reed? How many wins and how far into the playoffs do we have to go for Ron to stay? And do you think Ron would even want to stay if we suffer another 500 season?
Yeah, I mean, it's football. I think that's kind of just the right answer. It's about wins. It's what can you do for me? Are we on the right track? Can you prove it? Ron Rivera, like we talked about, Ron Rivera inherited a bad roster. We've been 500. We won the division with him. We've always kind of hovered right around the playoffs, just on the brink. And it's time to just kind of break through. He got us. He helped build this team. They did a fantastic job. I don't remember a Washington team having this much depth in a long time. Now, if he wants to say, I think we've talked about it before, it's probably going to take a playoff victory or a playoff appearance for sure, possibly even a playoff victory. But if that happens, I mean, which it should, I would imagine, I think Ron's in a pretty good spot to keep his job if he wants to stay. But who knows? This whole thing could, go down the drain. Right, Kyle, don't make it happen. Don't put that out there, dude.
What do you think, Coach?
Unless we just have a awful season, I think Coach Rivera should get. I think the measuring sticks should start now, after the new ownership, after all the other crap that was going on and other things that he had to take care of in the front office and everything. I think now he's focused on coaching. Unless we just have a really, really bad season, I don't think that topic should even come up. If we do good, if we do wins are important. But if we just don't look awful in the losses, I don't think it's that bad. If we lose to a better team, is what I'm saying. If we just lose to a better team and we played our game and we did our thing and they just got the best of us that day. But if we shooting ourselves in the foot with turnovers and we can't plug a hole, we trying to plug a hole with a Band-Aid.
Terrible clock management and shit. It's like,
we can't stop the run and everybody throwing all over. I mean, that's different. We need a coaching change. But I don't see that happening, to be honest with you. I think we're going to have a great season. And also, like I said, I think unless we just have a horrible season, Coach Rivera should be good.
Yeah, and I like the way that you said that, Coach Curl, in the sense that, this should be the blank slate starting right now for Ron Rivera in regards to this ownership, similar to Sam Howell, where Sam Howell, you have one season to really show this organization that you have the ability to be the franchise guy, because if you're not, they're going to be looking to get that guy in here so they can actually get their organization and franchise up and running, and nobody's saying Sam Howell isn't that guy, but just saying the correlation between the two. I really like how you put that, and that's how I feel. We need a playoff win, because the excuse has been used. Dan Snyder hampered. We've been building. The building is here now. And now you've slid in Eric Bieniemy. This is the time to do it. And Coach, I would argue there is no such thing as a better team than Washington. And I wholeheartedly believe that. I think this is, like you talked about, Reed, one of the most depth-built teams that we've seen here in Washington for some time. The big reason why nobody wants to give us any credit is because we typically couldn't get consistent quarterback play throughout the entire season. Once you get that, I think people are going to really start to wake up and see, wow, was a waking giant. And I'm not a sleeping giant. I'm not talking about the fan base. I'm talking about the team. That they needed to see what they have in that building, and maybe Sam Howell and Eric Bieniemy is helping show them that they have that power and that confidence to do it. I think that they need to go in and win a playoff game. I already said this from the get-go with Coach Rivera, but I think Coach Rivera is in a very good place with this ownership group, and like Coach Curl said, unless it's a catastrophic issue that happens, I don't see it happening.
Yeah. I think, like you said, you got to make the playoffs. I'll even put a number on. I'll say 9 wins. I think 9 wins can at the least get you the 7th seed in the NFC right now, just based on, obviously, things can change throughout the season. Teams can rise, teams can fall. But I think 9 wins will get you the 7th seed, depending on tiebreakers and whatnot. So you got to get at least 9 wins, and you got to probably win a playoff game. We've already saw Josh Harris, even though different situation, different circumstances in Philadelphia with the 76ers, but he fired Doc Rivers, who obviously he's been in the playoffs consistently, but they can't get over the hump. But you can honestly kind of say the same thing for Rivera, as he's kind of had us around 500 the whole time. And if you get to the playoffs and don't win a game, like, he hasn't really gotten us over that hump yet, because he's already gotten us to the playoffs in 2020. We didn't win a game. 2021, obviously, 2022, we didn't make it. So if you get to the playoffs again, but you can't win a game, then, like I said, you're not really getting us over that hump. So I think that Josh Harris and the rest of the Harris group are going to want to put their stamp on it and bring in, like you said, it's pretty much a 1-year trial for everybody. That's like the most important positions as far as quarterback, head coach, GM, front office people. It's all in a 1-year trial. Yeah. It's on a 1-year trial with these people. So if they come out and show improve, win 9+ games, 10 games, win a playoff game, they'll try to run it back next year, minus maybe Eric Bieniemy, because that means the offense is probably humming and he's probably going to go off to get a head coaching job somewhere. But anything less than a playoff win, I think that they're going to wipe the slate clean. Maybe Sam comes back depending on how he plays, but I think that, they're going to want to put their own stamp on it, just like most owners when they take over a new franchise.
Yeah, and fingers crossed that another player in our room won't be on that 1-year prove-it deal. That I have a family member here talking with us right now. Hopefully that gets done soon, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. We could just go into the future. Isn't that right, Coach? Now, Hall, I want you to go to this next question from the Colonel. Washington has injury concerns with some key players. Logan Thomas and Terry McLaurin on offense, and John Allen and Chase Young on defense. If we take control of this game early, do you see limited snaps for them? Benjamin St. Juste now, too, he says, in a game where everyone anticipates should be a cakewalk.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about this before we started recording. Like, obviously, this should be a cakewalk, and like, as fans, we should be looking at, even like as the players, they should be looking at like, we're better than them. We should go out and just handle our business and beat them. But it's any given Sunday type of thing, so anything can happen. But I do anticipate that it might get off to a little slow start, just because all the emotions running high of like a sold out crowd, new era, and maybe the offense stumbles out a little bit slowly early, just because they're trying to gain their footing. But I think eventually they do end up taking control of this game. And I would say if it's like a pretty sizable lead come like late third quarter, early fourth quarter, I can definitely see some guys getting some rest, getting some rest up for week 2, going to Denver, playing at a high altitude. But honestly, I know injuries, like you're risking injury like Terry in the Ravens game, but I want guys to play as many snaps as possible. I want guys to gain the reps with the guys that they're playing with, especially the offensive side of the ball, where it's a lot of new pieces, a lot of new working parts. Defense, I'm not really worried about. Obviously, like you said, like Jonathan Allen, if he does his thing, defense is balling out, big sizable lead. Obviously, you can rest John Allen, rest some guys on the defense. Mm-hmm. But on the offense, I would rather see guys staying out there, and even if it's just running vanilla stuff, running the ball, doing whatever, just kind of get those reps and get the familiarity and get the reps under their belt as far as the offense goes to, like I said, be prepared for week 2 and beyond. So I could definitely see it happening, but at the same time, I could see Eric Bieniemy, especially a hard-nosed coach like Eric Bieniemy, being like, nope, we're going to stay out there because we need the reps.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do agree with you to an extent. If we do get up early, I think there's a couple spots where you could kind of expect that. Maybe like trying to get Quan Martin some more snaps in a game time, more film on him, give him more experience. Maybe take out Benjamin St. Juste if they do get up early in that sort of sense. But I wouldn't expect anything crazy. You would probably expect that with Terry McLaurin, that to the point where if we're going to be running the ball heavily, there's no reason for him to be out there, in my personal opinion. But now let's go to our next question. Thank you, Colonel. Those were great. From John Taman, Coach. Who gets the first touchdown and how?
B-Rob.
Dang it.
B-Rob
that
gets
one.
the first one. Up the gut.
I can see
Go
that.
get it.
I can see that capping off an opening drive. I'm going to go with, that's a good one. That's probably what I would have chosen. I'm going to go with somebody who Sam Howell's had an excellent connection with all offseason. That's going to be Jahan Dotson. Maybe just in there, just a quick pull it on a quick slant or something on the opening drive, of course. And they're inside the 5. They're going to pull a fast one. Sam Howell's just going to rocket it in there. He can't cover Jahan, as we've seen.
Thank you, John. This was a great question. Obviously from the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, John Taman. We're going to be watching the game with him this weekend with the UK guys in Section 305. Really excited to do that. But that being said, John, the person who's going to score the first touchdown and how for the Washington Commanders this weekend is going to be none other than Mr. Cameron Curl. In the opening drive on defense, being able to get a scoop and score or a pick 6. I do honestly, it's not just because Coach is here. I honestly believe that turnover numbers are going to happen for Cam. You know, everyone keeps talking about Emmanuel Forbes being the guy getting those turnovers and interceptions. I think Cam is going to be the one to benefit from that. And, he's been really hungry for it, and I feel like he's doing things the right way. And this is the kind of sort of situation it will pan out for, in my personal opinion. What do you think, Coach?
Hey, I'm hoping for that, man, because I need a pick 6 ball.
Hey,
I need a ball.
Well, I hope that happens because I put a small wager on the defense to score a touchdown versus Arizona.
You're betting again? You're gambling again, dude?
Shh! Don't say it too loud.
All that?
I know.
Don't say it too loud.
Come on.
But no, last year I said it was going to be Curtis Samuel because everyone was dogging him and saying he was a bust and why we signed him. What happened against the Jaguars? He comes out, balls out, scores the first touchdown. Crowd goes crazy. Not trying to like toot my horn, size myself. I'm just saying. But I think this year, first touchdown goes to Antonio Gibson. I think it's going to be either a screenplay or like some type of pass to the halfback. He gets out in space, breaks a tackle, takes it to the end zone, maybe 20, 30, 40-yard game for a touchdown. It's just the same thing. People have been dogging AG all year. People have been saying that pretty much Brian Robinson took his job, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I think Eric Bieniemy has a specific role carved out for him, and people are going to see it come week 1. First touchdown of the season, AG.
Oh, absolutely love it. Now let's go to our next question on Twitter from Tony Franchise. Thank you, Tone. 2 questions. What would it mean, Hall, if a disaster happens and we lose this first game? And then also, what's your favorite tailgate food? He loves a good beer brat and wings.
Yeah, I'm a wings guy.
Choice.
I'm definitely a wings guy. I love me some wings.
You guys keep going. I'll be right back. I have to bring cash down with me. So just
yes.
What was the first? Oh, the first part of disaster.
Kyle's hitting the ATM. He's grabbing cash.
If it would be a disaster, what would it mean if they lost? I think that in the grand scheme of things, obviously you got 16 more games, so like the season's not like over. Even though I think the stat is like teams that lose week 1 of the season have like a 15% less chance of making the playoffs or something like that, something crazy. But I think that there's definitely going to be like panic. Everyone's going to be talking about fire this person, fire that person, get rid of this person, get rid of that person. But at the end of the day, you got 16 more weeks. Will it be a huge, huge, huge letdown? I would say yes. Would it kill a lot of the momentum that was been building up over the offseason and going to spill over into week 1? I would say yes, but I wouldn't say it's a lost season, but I would definitely say that it's going to be a lot of disappointment. There's going to be a lot of negativity back around the team. There's going to be a lot of the new era, same team talk, but I don't think that's going to happen, but I could definitely see that happening if they lose this game somehow, some way.
Yeah, I really hope it doesn't.
You know what you're not national, you know what the local media would be doing if they lose week 1. First of all, we're all pumping rainbows into our asses and stuff, and we're like, we're guaranteed a W against Arizona. We're not. Cash can't hear me, right? Okay, good. Okay.
Those guys are still professional athletes.
Exactly. Yeah, they're getting a paycheck too, man. They hear
Yeah.
it. They hear what everybody's saying. They're hearing they're hearing that everybody thinks they're tanking. They don't want that. And I mean, it sucks, but guys got pride. That would be the most Washington thing ever. And also, every year that happens. Every year, a team that you don't think is going to do much ends up beating a team that has hopes early on in the season. It's just like, whoa, where did that come from? But
that's the thing too. You hear a lot of people talking about the tanking. That's the
Right.
front office. The guys on the field ain't tanking. They still got to put film out there.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
need a job.
Right. Yeah, they need a job. So those guys are going to play hard. So
Yeah.
no matter what the front office is doing, you still got to go out there and play ball.
Yeah, and what happens, Tony, if they lose week 1? You know, I called for them to win 40-0 last podcast, so Lord knows I'll be pissed off, and I'll be catching a lot of crap on Twitter for my prediction. And then my favorite tailgate food. I mean, you can't beat wings, right? I mean, wings are the absolute favorite. You got to go with ranch. I'm not a blue cheese guy. I've never have been a blue cheese guy. It looks weird. Wings are obviously a favorite, but I love a burger, dude. I mean, you can't go wrong with a burger. You can keep those hot dogs at home with you. I know that they gave them off, I think like half-priced hot dogs at the stadium on Sunday.
Half-price glizzies.
I know you're excited about that, Reed.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing about you.
He might actually show up
probably
now.
More excited.
Show up just for the half-price glizzies.
I will say a good beer brat. That's a solid choice. That's a very good choice by Tony. I don't think there's many things better in this world, except for, maybe a few things that are better than a nice beer brat at a game. And but I think wings are S tier. That's top level. And then you get a little bit lower. I'm not a big hot dogs guy, mainly because we ate a lot of them growing up as poor people. So every once in a while you get that nice Johnsonville brat, you get a little pumped about it. It's fancy.
Yeah, real fancy.
Not that ballpark Hebrew national bullshit.
Let's go to our next question. Coach Curl, this is from Canada. Mike. Thank you so much, Mike. His question is, what win-loss record gets us in the playoffs?
We're going to have to win 9 games at least to make the playoffs. I think we got to win 9. And we're going to have to beat Philly. Definitely going to beat Dallas. But 9 to get us there.
That's my microphone. You can't touch it.
That's just so tight.
He keeps trying to touch the microphone. I'll say 10 wins is what gets us to playoffs. It should be double digits. It's something that we don't really strive to and get to. And if you're going to put a meter on what you need to strive for as a football team, I think this football team is very perfect in saying double-digit wins should be what we're striving for, because it's not something we're typically ever get. Okay.
And yeah, I'd say about 9 wins would get you in as a wild card team, because this is a good division, man. It sucks. I mean, obviously, look, Giants overrated. We can all agree there. Daniel Jones is dumb. I hate his face. And New York, just as a city in general, kind of sucks now. It's not, it's not that cool. Philly's good, and I hate to admit it, but they're good all around. Dallas sucks. Everything about Dallas sucks. Yeah. So hey, you heard it here. I think we're probably going to be like 16-1 this year. But
I think that's a good one. What about you, Hall?
Yeah, I mean, I said it earlier. I think you got to get at least 9 wins to get to the 7th seed.
Yep.
And I would say 10 wins comfortably, because I think 9 wins, you're going to have some tiebreakers in there and division record and whatnot. But 10 wins will be comfortable. 9 wins is iffy, but I think you can get in with 9.
I just need to hear Reeves 1.
But who our one loss is? Arizona. And then we're going to rattle off. and then we rattle off 16 straight. Yeah. Actually, I think it'll probably be like more like 19 straight. Right?
Hey,
that would win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that would play right.
Yeah,
perfect for the movie.
Yeah.
Now, Coach Curl, our next question comes from the Discord chat server, Orange Crush 92. If you could hang out with any cartoon character, who would they be and why?
Ooh, any cartoon character. Shaggy and Scooby, because they smoked hella weed and had
100%. That's totally all they do. Dogs don't get munchies until that's what they do.
Dude, you can't tell me nothing else.
Yeah.
After I watched Scooby Doo grown, you can't tell me Shaggy and Scooby wasn't blowing.
Yeah,
It
is weird. It is weird watching cartoons when you're an adult and you're like, oh, that's what they meant. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the greatest cartoon character of all time, possibly the best character in TV history of all time, and that's Randy Marsh from
No
South
way.
Park. Randy Marsh is
No
the
way.
funniest person of all time, and you can't tell me otherwise. What?
Is that who
I
you
was going to pick
pick?
Randy Marsh.
Yeah, because he's the greatest of all time. He does everything.
That's
I'm
a
gonna
good
go
one.
with another South Park character for the same reasons as Coach. I'm gonna go with my man Towley from South Park. Y'all won't get high.
Would you dry off with him?
The best one is when they go to the government facility and he's like, oh, is that the code to break in? He's like, no, that's the rhythm, funky town.
That's the melody to Funky Town.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay with South Park myself.
Damn.
For me, I'll say Chef. I want to hang out with Chef. Obviously, that'd be a great
Want
time.
them chocolate salted balls.
Yeah,
I wasn't gonna say that. I wasn't gonna say that.
Come on, dog.
I wasn't gonna say that. I'm not
We all
Reed.
knew what you meant. You didn't have to say it.
I'm
We
not
knew.
Reed. Okay, I'm not all about the thickness. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, right. You just want to put an apple in his mouth and put him on a silver platter. Come on.
That's so weird.
Another. Yeah, never mind.
All right, our next question, Discord chat, Coach Curl. Who do you think will be the go-to guy on third downs for the Commanders this game?
Ooh. I don't think you need a guy. I think you can choose. It depends on what the defense give you, because Terry is automatic. I mean, we see the catches he make, but you got Jahan. I mean, heck, a healthy Logan Thomas.
Cole Turner,
AG.
Sam Howell's that been comfortable. Yeah, AG.
Yeah, AG. Coming out of the backfield, on some plays. Heck, maybe AG might get lined up on the line too on some pass plays, but that's hard to tell, man, because there's so many weapons. And see, I think a lot of people looked at. I'm hoping the other teams are overlooking how many weapons we got and focus on one. Because we have so many weapons, man. But if I had to pick one, it'd be Terry, just because he missed the automatic.
And for me, this is very, very easy. I think this is a slam dunk. It's a great assumption to go by. I think the third down target this Sunday is none other than Logan Thomas. I think he's going to eat up those third down targets. That's what he was utilized for when healthy. And we saw that against the Jaguars last season, actually, in that opener of the season. Logan Thomas was crucial on those third downs. And that's what I think he's going to get back to, going back to Kansas City offense, finding the holes in the zone, sitting there. And I think that's what Eric Bieniemy's offense is going to be gearing towards, is making sure those third downs are shorter to allow guys like Logan Thomas to be able to find those holes in the zone and the defense and sit and allow for an easy completion for a first down.
Yeah. I wanted to say Jahan because him and Sam Howell's connection seems to be really good. I feel like Sam Howell feels really comfortable with him. But you know what? I'm gonna go with they're not gonna even reach third down. That's all. No, I'm just kidding. What if they didn't though? That'd be tight. No, I guess Cole Turner. I'm just gonna go with Cole Turner. I know you got Logan Thomas out there, but maybe Cole Turner catches a few. He seems to be somebody who Sam Howell seemed comfortable going to, even though I know it's because Logan Thomas wasn't there. But Kyle always steals my answer. So
yeah, I was gonna say Logan Thomas also. I think that he's just going back to OTAs and training camp before he got hurt. All the beat reporters were talking about how he was like standing out, how he was just killing guys in the zone. Being in case you guys didn't know, he's a former quarterback, so he can kind of read the defenses and kind of sit in those zones and kind of think like Sam Howell's thinking as a quarterback and find the open spots in the zone. And I was also going to say Reed's answer, which is Dotson, just because it seems like he has that connection with Dotson, and they came in together as rookies in 2020, so they've kind of been working together ever since like the rookie mini camp. So I think that between those two, I think that third downs will be taken care of between them.
That's a really good answer. Now the next question, our Discord, is from Jeff Miles. Coach, this is going to be for Hall and I. Are y'all going to go see my mural this weekend? The ramp behind section 234 is where his mural is. I'm going to go see it. I know, Hall, you're planning on doing it yourself.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go see it. And now I know exactly where it's at, so I'll definitely be there to see it.
Absolutely, and I'm sorry about Cash's not feeling well. So he's been
I was about to say he's coughing.
Yeah, can you say hi, everybody?
Oh,
can you say hi?
Cash.
No, you can't.
And
okay.
he's like, no.
Now our next.
I would
question-
cry if I had to sit on Kyle's lap too, Cash. Don't worry.
No,
Yeah.
don't say that. It's
I
okay,
understand.
Bubba. It's okay.
Yeah.
Now the next question, Discord chat server from Tim Towner. Will the DC sports media and the Twitter Xverse lose their crap if we win? If not by more than 7?
Their DC sports media is always going to find something wrong with something the Commanders do. If they win by only 7, they're gonna be like, well, it should have been way worse. I mean, but a win is a win. I don't care. But yeah, they will lose it if they don't win by more than 7. You know how gotta talk about something.
It's a lose-lose for them either way. Because if they crush them, they'll just be like, "Oh, this team's not serious. It's just the Cardinals. Like they didn't face a real opponent." And if they lose, then obviously the whole world's going to come down on them. Twitter, GMs, and coaches, local media is all going to say, "I knew it. Same old team. Blah 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 blah." So I think it's a lose-lose situation unless they literally score like 50+ points.
Yeah.
Personally, for me. Yes, they are going to lose their crap. And I personally probably going to lose my crap because the only way that they should be within 7 points, in my opinion of this and how I view this football team, if it's a 7-point game, it's because an asteroid hit the earth while the game was going on, while we're up by 7 points in the first quarter. That's the only time it should be. Look, I don't care if I think this team is a lot better than people are giving credit for, and they should beat the Cardinals handedly, in my personal opinion.
Do you think Bane's going to like blow the stadium up and the field's going to like disintegrate? Because if that's the case, then I don't want to go.
What branch of ISIS is Bane in? Why would he do that?
Hopefully he's not in Snyder's camp. And then maybe that would kind of be incentive.
Could you imagine Snyder showing up in a Bane mask? Like,
I was born in it.
Making it snow and shit. Yeah.
Now the next question, Coach Curl, this is from Tim Towner. If Crowder takes one to the house, what will Ron Rivera do with Dax Milne?
Shoot, that's a good question. Practice squad, maybe. But I'll keep them both. I mean,
there you go.
Yeah.
I'm with it. You can't just because Dax Milne is hurt doesn't mean there's an excuse to kick him out the door, right? You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Yeah, that's just how I look at it. Now, the next question that we have from Tim Towner, last one, is to you, Reed. Does Reed have any comments concerning Magic Johnson's pep talk to the players?
Do I have any? No, not at all.
What do you say?
I'm pumped. Yeah, what are you trying to say, Tim? What are you trying to say? I'm pumped about it, dude. I think Magic Johnson is the man. The guy gets it. I think he's the most positive person you could possibly have around these players, and that wasn't even one of those jokes. That was just a fact.
Ridiculous. All right, everybody, that's gonna wrap us up for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. Thank you for supporting us, staying along with us. Say bye, Cash. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye, Cash.
Yeah, bye, Cash.
All right,
that's
everybody.
what I say every time my direct deposit comes through. I say
that's
bye.
gonna wrap us up for this episode. Coach, before we get out here, would you like to plug your social media handle just in case anybody watching hasn't followed you yet on Instagram or Twitter and would like to?
Man, I don't even know what my handles is. Coach Greg Curl on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. Follow
something
me.
like that.
I love that about Coach Curl. He's like, yeah, just come follow me. If you don't like what I tweet, kick rocks. I don't care.
You've been hanging out with Shaggy and Scooby
people,
before this.
If you don't like it, you ain't got to comment. I don't comment on everything I don't like. Keep it pushing.
Nobody's ever changed a mind on Twitter.
Man, God, there are some people that think they can.
I know, it's so funny. It's so funny. It's like the social media has been around.
His mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't even think I can change my own mind at this point. I'm stuck in my ways.
Lord knows you've been trying to since you hit puberty. All right, everybody. That's going to wrap us up for this episode. We'll see you guys again on Monday. Really excited about going to the game this Sunday, Hall and I. Meeting up with the UK guys. We're going golfing on Saturday, going out to dinner on Saturday night, and then we're celebrating with the UK guys in Section 305. For the game on Sunday. I cannot wait for it. If we see you guys out there, just look for the hat. As always, it's easy to pick us out. Let us know. Say what's up. We'd love to meet you guys and get to know you a little bit. All right, everybody. I'm Kyle.
I'm Hall.
And I don't know who I am today. I don't remember.
It's been happening a lot.
Coach Curl. Hey, I'll be at the Denver game. Supposedly, I won't be at this one though.
Is it at home or is it in Denver?
It's in Denver.
It's in Denver.
Mile
See,
high.
Coach Curl goes to the right places for away games. is what I'm hearing.
Coach Curl's going to be about a mile high.
We'll see you guys this weekend. Have fun. Enjoy the sold-out crowd. It's a historic start for this organization, starting the slate clean, and we're on the road to greatness and 20 years of dominance. All right, everybody. We'll see you on Monday. Washington football. Woo!
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching, and if you liked what you saw, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you get notified when anything new is uploaded to the channel. Also, we just launched theburgundyzone.com. You can go there and find all of our latest news, articles, and the latest episodes that are uploaded. Again, we also have the Discord chat server, where all of our VIP folks are in, like Andy Burrows, Scott Hartley, Sergio Martin is in there as well. Don't miss out on the Discord chat server. Go and check that out. Until next time, everybody, Washington football. Woo!